Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be making my final Senate election prediction. We're officially about 2 days to a day away from the presidential election, depending on um, when you think about when the polls close. We're actually about a day away from Election Day, which is crazy. Um, and here we are. It's a final Senate election prediction. I'll be coming out with my final presidential election prediction tomorrow. Definitely going to be trying to make as many videos as possible in the coming days. I have some exams coming up, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but nonetheless, here we are. Let's get right into our safe Democrat states. With safe Democrat states, it's going to be what you usually expect. It's going to be the usual suspects. The state of Minnesota, of course, this time around is a safe Democrat race, as well as the state of New York, New Jersey, Delaware, not the state of Maryland, surprisingly, because Larry Hogan is running. Maine, because Angus King caucuses with the Democrats. You give them the state of Maine. And let's see, is there any other states that I would consider safe Democrat? I'm going to leave the state of Virginia out of it simply because the polls right now between Tim Kaine and Hong Kao don't show it in that safe margin, although it's likely going to go in favor of Tim Kaine. It's not going to be by a solid margin. Also, between Trump and Harris in the state of Michigan, in the state of Virginia, it does show a little bit of a tighter race. Perhaps the coattails of Trump could lead to a smaller margin in that Senate race as well. With not Donald Trump, the Republicans, I think that they're going to win, of course, the usual Senate races, leaving Nebraska out of it because of the fact that Debbie Fisher is running against an independent. I'm forgetting their name at the moment. Democrats decided to not run for the Nebraska Senate race because they believe that the independent running against Deb Fisher has, if they choose to not run, a very likely shot of winning, or a more likely shot of winning than the Democrat deciding to run, which is a very strategic decision, and probably a smart one, although I still think, as later on you're going to find out, that Debbie Fisher will still win there. State of West Virginia, Joe Manchin is not running for re-election. It's going to be solidly in favor of Republicans. So a very disproportionate Senate map. This is going to be a favorable Senate map for the Republicans. 2024 is a favorable Senate map for the Republicans. A lot of senators, like John Tester, like Sherrod Brown, were elected um, back when I believe Barack Obama won in his modern landslide against John McCain. They have been retaining their Senate races and kind of coming across as moderate Democrats. However, that period in America, I think, is kind of fading away, and you're not going to be seeing Democrats like senators in Montana or Ohio, and you're not going to be really seeing, after Susan Collins ends, Republican senators in states, um, in a state in a state like Maine. Um, so yeah, with respect to the likely Democrat states, the state of Virginia will be likely Democrat. The state of Maryland will be likely Democrat. New Mexico, I'm leaving out of it for the moment because there have been some polls that are indicating that it is a little bit closer. Um, Actually, you know what? I'll put the state of New Mexico as likely. At the end of the day, I do think it will go in favor of Heinrich, who I believe is running there. Uh, for likely Republican states, this is going to be the state of Florida. This is going to be the state of Montana. Those are going to be the two likely Republican states. I think that John Tester is going to pretty handily lose against Tim Sheehy in Montana, and Rick Scott will pretty handily win in Florida. Of course, Donald Trump will be carrying a lot of coattails across the country. I think he's going to win Florida by about 15 points, being realistic. I know that many people have seen, or there's been some polls that have been released that show Florida slightly more competitive going under 10 points. That's just not going to happen. Trump is going to perform very well in Florida, as early voting indicates. Trump right now is in a very good position to win. Of course, election day is very, very important, as we'll see what happens then. But based on the early voting, right now, Florida especially is looking very favorable, as well as the state of Nevada. But I haven't obviously made a projection with Nevada. For the lean Democrat states, there aren't many states that you can say are lean Democrat states, but the state of Nevada will be a lean Democrat state at the end of the day. I believe that Kari Lake will lose there. Ruben Gallego will win. Kari Lake has kind of lost a lot of popularity for some reason. Katie Hobbs, of course, beat her back in 2022. There's a chance Lake could win. Trump, of course, is doing the best out of all of the polls in the 7 swing states in the state of Arizona. But just based off of what we're seeing in Arizona right now, Ruben Gallego looks like he's in a very favorable position to win. However, that's the only lean Democrat race. Lean Republican is the state of Texas, the state of Nebraska with Deb Fisher, the state of Ohio with not Sherrod Brown, with Bernie Moreno. I think he'll beat Sherrod Brown. I think Trump's going to win Ohio pretty handily. I know people are saying like these Rust Belt areas, Iowa and Ohio, are looking favorable for Harris. I just don't buy that. I'm going with my gut. I know that Trump has historically done very well as a Republican running in a general election in Ohio and Iowa. He's moved them out of the toss up category. I think he's going to do well again in 2024. And I think that a lot of Republicans that are running in Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania are going to carry a lot of Trump's coattails. For that reason, Ohio is a lean Republican state. Now we head into our tilt Democrat races. The first tilt Democrat race will be the state of Michigan. I think it's going to narrowly go in favor of Democrats. I think that right now Harris has a slight edge in the state. We have more polls that can be released tomorrow. Final polls will be released tomorrow. And of course, election day, you're not going to be really seeing many polls, I think. I think most final polls will be released tomorrow. But with Michigan, I think that will narrowly go in favor of the Democrats, of course. That would be Slotkin, who's running in the state of Michigan. When we head over to the state of Wisconsin, I think that Tammy Baldwin is actually going to lose her race in Wisconsin. Right now, it is a very, very close race. Baldwin, it's up in the aggregate by about a point and a half. However, recent polls are suggesting it's neck and neck. Donald Trump, I think, is doing pretty well in Wisconsin as well. At the end of the day, I think that Tammy Baldwin will lose her Senate race in Wisconsin. However, at this moment, I still think that the states of Nevada and Pennsylvania will narrowly tilt in favor of the Democrats. I think that the Democrats will hold on to Pennsylvania and Michigan and Nevada by very small margins. However, they will win there, and they will win those races. That's my final Senate election prediction. 53 Republicans, 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this prediction is right, or do you think that states will go the other opposite direction? Anyway, thank you for watching and have a great day.